May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly market forecast. I hope you had a great trading week last week. If you watched the previous videos for the market forecast, the equity markets, and the Forex markets, if you looked at those videos, you should have made a bunch of money because we had some analysis that played out really, really well. We hit some good points on that analysis. I hope you made a bunch of money. But let's look at the week ahead. In the week ahead, what do we have? Monday, bank holiday, especially here in the U.S. And if the U.S. dollar isn't driving the markets, it's probably going to be a slow, sluggish market with some herky-jerky moves. I would suggest you take off on Monday. Tuesday, just relax on Monday. Tuesday, we have CPI for the Aussie dollar, and the New Zealand dollar has a interest rate decision to make. This is in this case, this is where I would tell you to wait for trading New Zealand dollar until after the news, because then you won't get caught out there. Your stop loss won't get hit if you're already in a trade or something. You know what I'm saying? Manage your trades if you are in a trade. Keep your stop loss to break even or something so that you don't get caught out there. All right, Wednesday, FOMC minutes. They tell you about, they show you what was discussed and everything in the previous FOMC meeting. All right, this isn't like the one that comes out every month, the first Friday of every month. No, this is just the meeting, just telling you what happened, what was discussed. Got another bank holiday for the euro areas, and US dollar. Got unemployment, but the big one is Friday. Friday, we got core PCE. This is what the banks look at for to get their tips, to get their indications about inflation. All right, this is what the banks look at, and that helps them, give the proper valuation to the U.S. dollar. All right, and that is what drives the market. So pay close attention to that. Wait until after the news, all right, before you take a trade. Now, let's go to the U.S. dollar index. All right, the U.S. dollar index is up strong in a strong way. And I said the U.S. dollar index. I meant to say the S&P. I'm sorry. We're starting with the S&P. All right, and it is up strong. Look at these candles. Very bullish, very full. These are institutional candles. When I say institutional candles, I'm saying institutional players are moving that candle. It takes billions of dollars to move a candle like that. Okay, and the intent seems to be to reach these highs. All right. I want to point out: do we have structure that will indicate that there's further movement to upward? That could be made. Yes. See these dotted lines? That is a weekly fair value gap from that high to this low. All right. That is a weekly fair value that price could tap into that weekly fair value gap and use it for to move higher. Okay. What is that blue field around there? That's a daily fair value gap. We'll get to that. All right. If we look at this high and the way we broke through it, this is the last high before this down move, a strong down move. All right. For price to trade through it and close above it is a very bullish indication. Not to mention the fact that it took out an old bearish fair value gap here. All right. And closed above that. That is a very bullish indication. So I like this candle. Yes. The very next week, get out of here. The very next week we pull back, but that is a retracement. That's all that is. Look at this. We pushed up hard from here, had a retracement, and then pushed up, had a retracement, and then pushed up, and now we have another retracement. Now, we want to see if this weekly fair value gap holds. All right, but there's nothing bearish in this market. All right, if we go to the daily, you can see that daily fair value gap was traded into here on Thursday and traded even deeper on Friday. Now, you take your Fridays with a grain of salt. All right, but you can see the wick of respect here once it got down deep into uh, this daily fair value gap. All right, what I'm looking for next week, will we see this the mark of the weekly fair value gap hold? All right, will it hold? There is a what do you call it, a volume imbalance here that usually acts as a uh, speed bump. All right, and prices can, with the confluence of the weekly fair value gap, could find support here and continue higher. That's what I'm looking for. This is a push up, a pull back, a push higher, a pull back. I'm thinking we're going to see another higher high made because price is attracted to these highs as a draw on liquidity and this immediate high first. All right, here, and there is a smooth edge, which ICT likes to call it. All right, that will act as a draw on price. These are relatively equal highs that is going to pull price up to it. All right. Could we see price now? That is the bullish outlook, right? When would I start to think bearishly about this market? All right. Where is the last low before this move higher? Here. All right. And that's when I would start thinking bearishly. All right. Yeah, it could develop one here like this. All right. If it doesn't get past this area of supply and then pushes back down, now we've just taken out a low. We just took out a low, and I'm starting to think that this, because we took that low out, this becomes supply, and I'll be looking for price to come back here in order to come on down to make further further push down. So that is the bearish scenario. All right, but I'd have to see some failure first. The weekly fair value gap, the volume imbalance. All right, and this low. All right, I would have to see that fail, and I don't see that happening, honestly. But we have to be prepared for the markets to do whatever they're going to do. But I am bullish here. All right, there are nothing but bullish signs there. Same thing with the Dow. I mean I said the Dow. The doggone NASDAQ. I love trading the NASDAQ. I love trading the S&P and the NASDAQ. All right, you can see that price is already showing respect to this weekly fair value gap here, an old one. All right, and I tell you each time that the old PD arrays like this old fair value gap act as speed bumps. We see a reaction to it, but that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for a reaction for the continuation to happen. Okay, and we had that reaction. You can see that price did take out the previous weekly high, and we're pulling back past the 50% of this candle range. All right, you can see that there is a volume. Sorry, okay. You can see that there is a volume imbalance down here. All right, and you can see that there is a much more developed weekly fair value gap here, a little more developed than the S&P. All right, I'm looking for price to open, tap into this fair value gap, and continue higher. That's what I'm looking for. Same bearish situation. If we go down to the daily, same situation as the S&P. All right, you see the S&P, you see the NASDAQ. I'm looking for price just to tap into that weekly fair value gap, which is overlapped by the daily fair value gap. You have a confluence of support there, and I'm looking for higher prices. That's it. I don't think we'll ever come down to the volume imbalance, but if we do, all right, I'm gonna, what I want to see is this low. If we can't get past that low, we can't get past this higher, excuse me, and we come back down past that low, we've just broken structure to the downside. So I'm looking for price to pull back up, and I will take that, looking for shorts at that point. But right now, I'm thinking that this will be the draw on liquidity, this high up here, just like in the S&P. And I think we're going to be coming up towards these highs. All right. So I am bullish in that market. The Dow, I'm not going to go too far into detail on this one because we just went over the other two correlated markets. We have come down to an area, a very thin weekly fair value gap, which is overlapped by the volume imbalance here. You can see we did not close beyond it. All right, we probed past it, but we did not close beyond it. I'm looking for a price to work its way up. There is a bearish fair value gap here that the market is going to have to contend with. All right, but I suspect that it will break through and head towards these relative equal highs. All right, and here and here. All right, I believe that is going to be the draw on liquidity. You can see how when price sees this down move and then the further up move, we created a nice area of fair value here. And I think this is going to act as demand. And you see the reaction to it. I'm looking for some follow through with that. We'll probably get a bump here and then continue up higher. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, but I'm looking at this, as an area of to draw price to it. Those are relative equal highs there. All right. If we go to gold, what do we got in gold? Gold, you got to pay attention to. Why? All right, I'm going to show you why. First of all, look how bullish it is. All right, we got nothing but a bullish, impulsive move here. Push, push. All right, we have two candles, 2 weeks of candles that came down. We did not overtake those two candles. No, we did not. All right, we closed below the range of those two candles. All right, so that's kind of indicates bearishness and consolidation. And then we dropped. All right, from here, it opened here. That was a nice volume imbalance there, right? And we closed lower. But what did we do? We came down into this area here. All right. And there is a weekly fair value gap in there. And we never closed beyond it. Price came, tapped that fair value gap, and shot up right after it. The power of fair value gaps. But this is what I want you to pay attention to. Not just the sound of my voice. We got to close above that down move, those down close candles. 1, 2. All right. We got to close above. These down close candles. All right. Now I'm not looking at the wicks. All right. I'm looking at the bodies. All right. And we've closed above that open. All right. And of course, the closes that came with it. So I like this as a bullish indication for further upside. Now, I would want to look inside this candle here on the lower time frames to see if we have structure inside of this that supports higher prices. And here's that candle. Remember, they're a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. This is the Monday. This is the Monday candle. We pushed up. We pulled back into what? A bullish fair value gap. All right. And as soon as we did, we got a 2 candle pullback. 1 in and 1 out. This is the way you want to see it. And then we have a close above those the weekly opens and the weekly closes prior to it. Let me just give you a reminder shot right there. All right, we have that close. This is what I'm looking for. Now you're saying to yourself, well, these are dailies, these are daily candles and everything like that. Listen to me. All right, this is a bullish indication. I'm trying to tell you something. All right, we have an old weekly fair value gap here, bearish weekly fair value gap that again, what is it? A speed bump. I tell you that. All right. Look for price to quite possibly come back, pull back, and test that high. Not leave a fair value gap. But I look for this fair value gap to fail. All right. And I would be looking for higher prices. There's nothing bearish in this price movement with this fair value gap here. I'm looking for another fair value gap to form between Tuesday and Thursday. I'm looking for some more price action to the upside. All right. If we look at silver, silver is weaker. All right. It moves a little weaker than gold, but it is a correlated uh, uh, market. All right. So you can see over the weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sideways. Ugh, nobody likes that. All right. Sideways action. But look how strong this candle is. All right. You see it's closed above the previous candle. That's not telling us but so much. But what I want to point out is that low, there was a low made to sweep the sell side liquidity for this consolidation. All right, and then we're on our way up, closing above the previous three candles, not closing, but pushing higher above the previous three candles, and we're heading towards the high of this consolidation. All right, I like that. Is there something in this candle, in this weekly candle on the lower time frame on the daily, that tells me that there is some structure in place that will help price move higher? Yes, we have a bullish daily fair value gap. Price stabbed it and pushed higher. That's all I like to see. Now, in a consolidation, you have to take PD arrays with a grain of salt, because in consolidations, sometimes PD arrays aren't respected at all. Okay, look at this bearish fair value gap here. I'll draw it this way. Look at this bearish fair value gap here. You might say, yeah, it did use it to make lower prices, but it never took out the low. All right, it never took out the low, and then price just ran right through it here. All right, it's not. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. All right, when you see it's obviously respected, and and you see how we have a two candle pullback here, one in and one out. I'm thinking that there's a higher probability chance that we go to the highs here for that buy side liquidity sweep. Okay, and that's what I'm basing it on. Yeah, we could still come back and chop around here for a little while. We could, but I'm looking for a high sweep. We haven't had the high sweep. We had a low sweep already here. I'm looking for the high sweep. Okay, that's it, and it's going to follow gold to a certain degree anyway. So, that's what I like. Okay. Should we do oil? Oil, I'm going to point out. All right. US oil. Look at this. I said that price would go up and take out this high in that consolidation, right? And I left this little drawing here on the 4-hour. I'm pretty sure we came within a couple of ticks of that high, and then we start to push down. Okay. Oil is moving sideways, and it's been moving sideways for a minute now. All right. I'm still looking for it to make the high sweep. This is a move that you see a lot. All right. Where you say, pull up, pull back, push higher. All right. Could it continue higher from here? It certainly could. And I'm looking for it to do that. All right. Did we have a low sweep? This actually created relative equal lows. All right, and I'm looking for price to push higher here. All right, this isn't a market I want to trade right off the bat. I'll be honest with you, because it's in the middle of this trading range, and I'll be wanting to wait until it chooses a direction. So there's not a whole lot to say on this market. All right, if you go to the 4-hour. I'm looking for something that says, let me break this high, and then I could be looking for higher prices. If it breaks this high, because this was the last low, that'd be the one that I